He does the work, writes it up, does everything, sends him on his way. The corporate office called him up and goes, "Why didn't you sell him this, this, and this?" And he went, "Because he didn't need it." The chain was like, "Oh, no, you have to sell him this, this, and this, and this." He's like, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to one of my customers." And the chain was like, "Well, you're going to start doing that, and you're going to look for another job." Found another job back with my buddy. And he became the ace mechanic. He said, "Never go to, I'll be nice, I won't mention the chain. You'll never go to that place again." And I've heard nothing but bad about this particular chain.
Yep. They're out there.
Oh, yeah.
No, Ray?
Fellas.
What's up, Ray?
I was watching old drag racing footage on YouTube. I lost track of the time.
I thought you were taking a nap.
Yeah, man. Well, a little bit of that too. Yes, I'll admit to that. I will admit to
What are you watching?
Stuff from the '68 Nationals. I spent the day in Whitestone the other day with my good buddy Billy, and we got to talking a lot about the old super stock stuff and Jenkins and Sox and Martin and crews like that. So I just found some video, and my friend Billy Lynch, who was winning races back then with his in Top Fuel. So I found some stuff on YouTube that just happened to pop up. So I was watching it. A lot of Jenkins stuff. Yeah, good stuff. Good history stuff.
Nice.
I started now what I started doing, since every day I read old magazines. It's Popular Hot Rodding. This was 73. So yesterday there was a story in here about carbs and manifolds. So I took pictures of it and I posted. I've been posting this stuff on social media. And I figure I'm reading it every day. I'm talking about it. Then might as well share it. So,
nice. I can bet people really appreciate when you share that kind of stuff, because you can't find that stuff anymore.
I know. Actually, yeah, I've gotten some pretty good comments, and so I try to make it, so it's a legible copy, it like 1-to-1, so you could expand it and whatnot. But there's a ton of good stuff in these magazines. I mean, even back from the ones I read from the 60s, everything old is new again. And a lot of this stuff, if you still work on old cars, this stuff still applies. I just did one yesterday about, I found an article about rebuilding Hurst shifters, and then I get my Haggerty magazine, and what's in there but an article on Hurst shifters. I'm like, oh, shit, that's great. It's like, it followed day after day. So putting a lot of that stuff up and sharing it. So it's
Ray, quick question. I saw that picture with the two shifters in it. Is the one with the short handle, was that a super shifter?
Not a super shifter. No, that was a regular Competition Plus.
Okay. But
that one, in the article, they talked about, Hurst had two lines of shifters, and one had the removable stick. And that's what that one is. There's two bolts in it that you can remove the stick and then put any stick on it that you wanted. And the other one was the one I actually had my Pontiac for many years back in the 70s. And the stick is integral to the body of the shifter. You can't change it.
Ah, okay.
So that's why I just happen to have those two hanging in my garage. And you want to see what people are getting for shifters these days? Those shifters are probably worth $400 or $500 a pop today.
Really?
Yeah. And they were just Competition Plus shifters. They weren't even super shifters. I went to the UD a while ago. It's months ago now, and sticking out of the pile, I knew it was an M22, but sticking out on top of it was a super shifter, and I was back there like a day or two later, and I had a pocket full of hundreds, and I made the offer. I said, "Look, I'll take this off your hands right now." Like, "Oh no, man, you can't sell that. You're gonna use it. Like, what are you gonna use it? Using it on something? Yeah, well, maybe they will, but."
M22 and a super shifter, man, the stories that train you could tell.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So it's all that old stuff is it's, and then the story, the talk always comes around to, okay, well, if we die with it, what's going to happen to it? I mean, is anybody going to want it like in a generation or two? Are they even know what it is? Good question.
Piece of metal to them.
Yeah, junk. What's this old junk? This old car crap.
Yeah, so my generation, they had them in the Cutlass, the 442s, Hearst. So the 90s, 2000s, those cars, none of them had anything like that.
No, those the 442s had the lightning rods though.
Mm-hmm.
In the 80s, and that's kind of cool. That was a cool thing that they did. But yeah, because everything was automatic. You know, you couldn't get. That's why I didn't buy a Monty SS. I couldn't get a 4-speed.
Yeah.
I went into the dealership thinking I could order a car in 1984, and I said, "Man, I'm going to get me one of those Monty SSs, and I'm going to get a big block and a 4-speed and like a 411." And then I found out, no, you will get this, and this.
That's
in
terrible.
This or this color. And I was like, what? No. That's not what I want.
That's where they messed up, right in that time period.
Yeah. And so I took my 73 Monty, and what did I do? I put a big block in it. I put a work turbo 400 in it. I rebuilt the whole suspension, did all urethane stuff, new springs and shocks, made the car handle. And I drove that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
One of my buddies has a 442 Hearst with T-tops.
Okay.
It's a 73. So I got my eye on it. I might do some finagling.
Yeah, it's the first year of the Colonnade body.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is kind of. I just did a thing on the Colonnade body. Is it in here? Because I found some pictures of a Grand Am, a 73 Grand Am. Yep, here they are. And I talk about these cars all the time with my friend. But like, when was the last time you saw one that was a funny car?
Oh yeah.
And I found this in a magazine, and then I found it again in a a Valvoline ad, another one.
Nice.
So I posted those. I'm like, here, controversial Colonnades. A lot of people didn't like them. But who knew they were funny cars?
Yep.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Keith?
Hey, Keith.
Hey. So you said you have a friend that has a 73. It's either a 442 or a Hearst Olds.
Hearst Olds.
So it's white or is it black?
White
one, white with gold, and it has T-top.
Yep.
Ooh,
The T-tops came out in 75.
Maybe I'm wrong on the year.
So it could be a 75. He has the dual gate shifter in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I have a 70. Oh, so he has a white. Is it a W25 or a W30?
I don't know.
It says on it'll say W25 is the 350, and then the W30 is the 455.
It has the line in it, and it's usually on the back.
Well, it should have a sticker on the fender.
On the roll fender.
On the front
Yeah,
fender.
it'll say W25 or W30.
I don't know. I have to check it out next time I go over there.
And then you could look at the engine. I mean, I can tell because I'm an Oldsmobile guy. I can tell which one, if it's a 350 or a 45. But
it don't have an engine in it.
Oh well, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
Whatever. You want, put an LS in it.
Yep.
No.
Hello, Terry.
Now I got jazzed recently because one of the cars at the shop that's coming in hasn't come in yet is a 69 442. And I'm like, well, now you're talking my language. You're finally bringing something in that I want to work on.
Yeah.
And fella had it since I think the 80s and drove it and parked it because of work and business and whatnot, and it sat for 25 years or something like that, and now he retired from the business that he ran and said, hey, you know what, time to get the olds back on the road. So it's coming in for complete the normal stuff, fuel system, brake system,
let's go over it.
A good flush and douche and go over. So
that's
good.
73 Hearst Olds should be like the fastback.
That's the Colonnade bike. 73 is the Colonnade. Yeah.
Yeah, but they had, they had like the Supreme style, which had like a sharper window, and then the other one was like a fast. Yeah. The two
and that window was actually pointed in the middle.
Yes.
Which was kind of a cool styling thing on those. Like the Impala had that 3-pane window, and the Buicks had that, and the Colonnades had that pointed window.
Yep.
Maybe it didn't have T-tops and it had the stainless half.
It should have that stainless half thing.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking wrong. I'll go take some pictures of it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Here, so
because
let's see if this shows up. That's a 75.
There you go.
And a 70. Oh, let me kill a light.
I think it.
It's not
I think it's
40.
that. I think it has T-tops. Yeah,
Because
I
that's
don't have that stick in the back.
yeah, that's based on the Cutlass Supreme body. It focuses. There we go. Well, this has the extra HO on the back, and then a 73 is a little bit different. I don't know. I when I was in high school, I had a 75 Cutlass, and I did all the work to it, and then I found the 75 Hurst Olds. I'm like, well, I'm buying that, and so I bought this 75 Hurst.
I had a 73 Cutlass. I had a 77 Cutlass, 79 Cutlass, 81 Cutlass,
Nice.
and an 87 Cutlass.
Oh, I like the 87. I like the 80. I want to get like 87 442. That's a 73.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think it's the 75 he has.
Yeah, see how the back window's slanted, then they block out the back window that make it a little tiny window there.
Yeah, no, I think it's the other one, the 75.
Yeah, they made 2,535 of those 75s.
Now, Terry, when he was here, there's a 87 Hurst sitting at a shop, and he stopped to talk to him. The guy like, no, I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah.
Fix it one day.
Yeah, one day. I've watched cars melt into the dirt.
Oh yeah.
That's what's happening at my house.
Yeah, people say, oh, I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah.
And I was watching, the bottom half of it just melts into the dirt.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, those cars could sit on concrete, and most of them are gone by now. And that's what happened on my 73 Monty and my 71 Riviera. I finally had to junk them because the back halves were just rusted off.
Yeah, my father had a 73 Cutlass, and we were living up in New York, and he drove it daily driver, and the rear fender. This is the story that I heard. It was made of recycled metal, and something happened. It was rusted really easy. And so I was driving it one day, had like groceries in the back, like milk or something. I'm just took some turn. I hear some banging around in the back. Whole gallon of milk fell out the back of the trunk. Just spilled all over. I was like, oh no. Get home, like, where's the milk?
That's not good.
Like, that's what that noise was. Stuff would just fall out of the trunk.
That's funny.
So
My 77, the floor rotted out. So the mufflers like ran right by there, and my wife, we were dating then. She was like, "Oh man, my feet are hot." And you look down, see the ground.
Yeah, the caliper converter was right
They
there.
had like triple floor mats, like you'd be driving down the parkway, you hit like a pocket of water, the floor mats would jump up. Like, whoa!
I think I got a problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, time for a fourth floor mat.
Another floor mat.
Yep.
Yeah,
So if I remember right, the big problem with those cars was rust.
Yeah.
Because they were trying so many different things all at the same time, and none of it worked.
Yeah, and then they decided to put T-tops in it. I'm like, what the heck are they thinking?
Yeah.
I'm so lucky I got one that was in Florida, because I looked at some other ones. There's no floor at all. Those T-tops leak like when they were brand new.
Yeah. I had a 77 with T-tops. That was my competition car, and it never leaked.
It never leaked?
No.
Mine didn't leak until the guy I bought it from. When I bought it, I go, hey, when was the last time these were off? He's like, I took them off like once, like 7 years ago, whatever it was. I'm like, all right. And as soon as I bought it, I took the T-tops off. I'm like, all right, took them off, drive around. This is cool. And then it rained. I had them on. And I'm like, oh, great, water's coming in.
I think that was the key, not taking them off. Yeah.
That was here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Nice. That's like a 79, right?
Yeah, 79 had T-tops.
Yep.
I had 10 grand in the trunk.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, that's when I went to stereo competitions with. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a Cutlass guy.
Yeah, I have a set of I just bought them for no reason. 79 Hurst Olds wheels. I was down in Miami, and some guy had, like, it was cheap. I don't even remember how much. I don't even have a 79 Hurst Olds, but it was, I was there and I'm like, yeah, I'll buy them. I have them just sitting in my shop. I'm like, oh. Now I need the car.
So our topic was shops. Me and Jim was talking about it earlier about how shops beat up people.
Yeah.
But I do have a good story like Jim did. When I had my repo company, I had a tow truck. One of my drivers called and said, hey, truck won't go into gear. Transmission's gone. So I was like, all right. So I sent my other truck over to pick it up. We took it to a shop close by. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, you need a transmission. But I can't get to it for 2 weeks. I was like, oh, man, I got to have my truck back, man, because we were really popping it this time. So on my way home, I lived about 19 miles from where the shop was. On my way home, I passed this shop where a guy worked on trucks all the time. So I pulled in. I was like, hey, I got a tow truck that needs a transmission. He goes, oh, I had a cancellation. Bring it. I can do it right now, this week. All right, cool. So I towed it over there. And I dropped it off. And I leave his shop. And I'm not even 15 minutes down the street. He calls me. He goes, it's done.
Done.
I was like, what do you mean it's done?
Quick.
The PTO cable broke and the PTO was stuck open. So it wouldn't go out of gear. So that first guy was going to charge me to put a new transmission in.
Yeah.
So make you wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, make me wait 2 weeks. So this other guy, I was like, dude, you're my guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he could have got I just dropped it off. I was like, put transmission in it, get it back to me as soon as you can. And he was honest. So from then on, that was my guy. So when I bought my trucking company, all my trucks went to him. Boom, boom. And he would take care of me. He was so good. He would tell me how to fix stuff. I'd break down on the road. I'd be 300 miles away. I'm like, man, Chris, I broke down. And he'd walk me through the whole thing, how to fix it, or at least to get me home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I bought him all kind of gift cards and stuff, man. He really took care of me. So nice. when I bought my bus, well, first I called him. I was like, hey, Chris, I'm going to buy a bus. What should I look for? So he gives me a list of stuff. He goes, look for this stuff, all the good stuff, right? So I get the bus and I get it home. I was like, yeah, Chris, I got the bus. I'm going to bring it to your shop. He's like, I'm retired.
No.
Oh, no.
So, man, I almost wanted to get rid of the bus because I didn't have a mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he told me if I need anything, just call him. But, man, he was so fair on pricing and honest. When you find somebody honest like that, man, you got to keep them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's worth the wait. Very true.
Oh, yeah.
Very true.
It reminded me of a story when I worked in the race car shop. Sold a guy an engine, and he took it home and he put it in the car by himself. So he gets everything, gets it running, starts it up, and it runs really rough. And he calls my boss up and goes, hey, something's wrong with this engine. I don't know what it is. So my boss said, you know what? Bring it by the shop. We'll take a look and see what's going on. He drops it off. He leaves it, and we start looking at it. And my boss is looking at it. Hears it running rough, and he goes, oh, wait a minute. I bet you he forgot to plug up one of the vacuum ports on the back of the manifold. So we look, and sure enough, there's an open port. So it's a massive vacuum leak. So we're standing there. We know the guy pretty well. So we're like, okay, what can we do to F with this guy? It's like, let's call him up and tell him, oh, yeah, well, we got to pull it out. We got to pull everything apart. This is no good. We got to fix this. So he comes back in, and he's giving him the whole story. And he's like, oh, we could just put this in and it'll run fine. Sure enough, he put the plug in and started up, and it was fine. He hated us after that, but okay, fine, thank you.
Yeah, right.
He's like, we could have been dishonest, but he's like, nah, we can't do that.
Being honest gets you more work.
Yeah.
I'm working on this Jeep now. That's half a train wreck. But the guy had a Mustang before it that was an eBay special. That was it was sinful of how these guys sold this car. And this guy bought it and brought it to us 3 different times for repair. And then he sold it at a loss, and I bought the Jeep. But just this time around with the Jeep, I relayed to the shop owner what I found, what we needed to do. He tells the guy, and the guy wrote a long text back saying, okay, this is what I need, this, that, and the other thing. And he says, listen, he goes, you guys do whatever you find, just do it. He goes, you guys are honest. You actually, you find stuff that's wrong and then you fix it instead of sending it out bad, like the way you take it in. So he says, and that's like, he goes, you just don't find that all that often. So I told him, I said, yeah, we don't have to work hard to find more work. We just have to just tell these people just legit what's wrong and fix it, you know, and actually do the work that you say you're going to do. So
that goes a long ways.
It's kind of brutal. Yeah.
When I make women's purses, once a year they can bring them back to me and I'll recondition them and fix anything that might be, stitching or stuff like that. And you can't believe how far that goes with people.
Yeah.
And it's just I want to keep my product lasting, you know what I mean? So I tell them bring it back every year and I'll clean it and condition it and
Well, it was Ray said something when we were on the radio show. He said, "Hey, can you take somebody that's a diehard Snap-on or Mac or whatever guy and convert them?" And I came back right away saying yes. And Ray goes, "Man, that was quick." But tonight, reason why I'm late was a perfect example. And not to go into too much of the thing, but guy asked the Snap-on guy a couple of questions, and the Snap-on guy says, "I really don't have time at this moment."
Goodbye.
And I'll talk to you next week.
And I think it was Billy. I think it was Billy who asked you that question about converting a guy. And what I think the issue
was Billy. Yeah, you're right.
I got to tell you, Lynn, I spent the day with him the other day. We spent the whole day
eating my pizza. Like, that's a different story.
We went to the bagel place and we went to the pizza place.
Oh my God, you pigs!
Utopia Bagels and Freddy's Pizza. Let me tell you,
man, you had your carbs that day.
What a combination! Oh, and of course we had to go sit. It was a beautiful afternoon, so he says, "Listen, let's go sit in the back." I brought the cigars. I brought a couple of nice big stogies. He had the whiskey, so we're sitting there. I said, "Yeah, this is how you're supposed to live your afternoon. Sipping whiskey, smoking cigars, talking cars." It was a good day. It was very nice. But the thing is, Brian, that a lot of tool guys and other guys in the profession, they forget that they're in a service-oriented business.
Yep.
It's not just about selling a product and taking the money and calling it a day. Your name is attached to that, and your reputation is attached to that, and that's the service part. And I can see a guy who's in the business long enough that says, "Hey, you know what? All right, now it's time to get out." You don't want to do it, but
was the guy young, Brian?
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a lot to learn. He may not be doing it for too long.
Yep.
Oh no! I mean the Snap-on guy. Oh
yeah.
No! He's middle of the road. I mean I like the guy. He's not a really strong competitor. I mean, I don't, but he, again, he does throw a few monkey wrenches in my plan. And like I said, he told the guy, "Hey, we'll do it next week. I'm too busy."
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. I almost got short with this guy, but I told myself to hold on. Just, just hold on. So, and it turned out quite nice. So,
yeah, you got to treat people, man. You're asking them for their money. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You got to treat them like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, today, like I said, today was just crazy. But, again, like I said, you gotta give a little bit of care. Sometimes it's hard, and sometimes you kind of fall apart and you try to pick up the pieces and you try to keep going. But if you're like me and at least go on percentages, you're okay. There are people that only give you one shot and that's it.
Yeah.
And those are I got a few of those guys on my route, and they still say, though, after all this time, you still stop and talk to me. I can't believe it. And I said, well, one day you will buy something. And then, of course, you hear, I'll never, nope. And I'm like, like I tell them, I'm like a cockroach. It's hard to kill me. I keep coming back.
Well, because the business, it changes and the route changes, and there's always new people, and there's there's old guys that stay, but there's guys that leave, guys come in from other areas, they move into the area, whatever. It's a constantly changing thing. So you have to always be, selling yourself.
Yeah.
Always.
So Brian, I got a question. So are there people that are diehard Snap-on guys that won't buy any other tool? Or
Yeah.
vice versa?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
There's guys, and it's very hard because, there are some guys that are diehard Mac guys, and Mac guys are so hard to come by, are so far and few between. Those guys are literally like got electrical tape holding their tools back together, or scotch. They got scotch tape and glue, and I'm like, well, just trade it in, dude, and we could take care. Oh no, because one day there'll be another Mac guy here, and and I said, yeah, you'll put them out of business because you had to return everything to be fixed, and that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. We were talking about this the other day, and Bill had asked me, I forget exactly how he phrased the question, but he was asking me about my relationship with tools, because he knows that I'm a toolie. It's a not only a necessity, but it's a hobby. And I tried to explain to him the best way I could do it, and I don't know if I did it right, but I said, yeah, I like buying tools. Like I like buying records. I like buying car parts. I like. And I like being able to use this stuff to do jobs. And I said, for years, I only had a Snap-on guy. We never had any other guys around. So, 85, 90, well, probably up till a few years ago, 95% of 98% of my tools were all Snap-on.
Yeah.
I have a couple of little pieces. I have a couple a few little Mac pieces, and a couple of Matco things. I said, but that was it. So that was my preference. So my go-to was going to be that, because that's what I knew. I said, now I've diversified a little more. I said, now I know Brian. I said, so I've diversified a little more. I got, I have some other stuff in the box. And
it's funny because I got two quick stories on that. One of them was when I was turning wrenches, and I had a Matco guy come into the shop, and I literally told him, I said, look, dude, you guys never last long enough. I said, majority of my tools are Snap-on, and I'm just going to buy Snap-on tools. You don't even need to waste your time. Yeah. I said, I'm really sorry. It's nothing personal. It's just that, I don't want to get tangled up in that. And the funny thing was, he was like, oh, I understand. I'll stop by and hand a flyer out to you. I said, whatever, dude. Just, there's the door. Scoot along. Nothing to see here.
Right.
Well, 20-some years later, when I got into this business, and there's a knock at the door, guess who was the regional manager for distributors?
No fooling, same guy.
That guy that I threw out of the shop.
Wow.
And he looked at me, and I said, hey, Pete, what's up? And he goes, do I know you? He goes, you look really familiar. And I said, we'll just keep it at that until you figure it out, And I'm sure he was trying to figure that out after I told him I'd never buy a Matco tool. And here I am, I'm becoming a Matco distributor. You know what I'm saying?
Brian, check me on this. And Justin, you too, because you would probably know. And this is another thing I said to Bill. I said, after working with certain tools, a certain brand for a while, you say, what's brand preference? Do you like the way it looks? Do you like the chrome? Do you like the logo? That's all secondary. That's here and there. But I told him, you could blindfold me, and I could tell you the difference between certain wrenches and ratchets. Yeah. And some of them I just happen to like the feel of better than others. And now maybe because I worked with them more over the years. I said, so I think that has a lot to do with it too. It's familiarity. You know, you just it feels right in your hand.
Well, I hear an echo.
Yeah, there's an echo. When when Slingshot came on, there was an echo.
We still got an echo?
I don't hear the echo.
I hear a hum.
Yeah, it's like a hum.
We'll see if it goes away here.
So what's up, everybody?
Joe, what's up? Yeah, but it's funny because that's like a perfect example is we had a 32-ounce dead blow hammer. You know, those are the ones filled with shot ping and they no bounce and, you know, so forth. And they made a 40-ounce, which was the same size as the 32-ounce hammer size, lengthwise. And that was awesome. Well, somewhere along the line, they changed vendors, and the 40-ounce grew 2.5 inches longer.
Oh, wow.
And when guys needed to replace their the 40-inch hammers with a new one, I'd hand them one that was 2.5 inches longer. And, you know, they're hitting themselves in the head. They're hitting the car. They're, you know, getting caught up in the drawer, the toolbox. And they're like, dude, I don't understand. There was nothing wrong with the other hammer. Why, you know?
Oh, speaking of that, Brian.
So you get used to a certain thing and the way it feels. And, you know, I know we're being live and being recorded, and I hate to say this out loud, but there are still tools that when I go to my toolbox, unfortunately, they have that S word on them because it's just the way they feel and work. And
that's I mean, familiarity. I got to tell you another funny Matco story. I know I complained. I told you how last week I put those clip removal tools in my toolbox and couldn't open the drawer for a week.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm out there yesterday. Another nice day. I'm out in the garage. And I'm just tinkering around, cleaning it up. I said, hey, you know what? The drawer of this toolbox feels a little, you know, just a little tight. So I took some penetrating lube. I started lubing the slides. And then I found, I know what it was. I posted the pictures of those shifters and I put balls on them. Top of my toolbox in one corner, I have all my 4-speed balls. So I found this plastic bag. I'm like, what the hell is this? And it was a rebuild kit, a Matco rebuild kit, I think for that pressurized aluminum spray can.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So I'm like, I said, wow, I put this up here, huh? Well, I would have never found it if I was looking for it. So I said, you know what? Let me put it in the toolbox. So again, I went in the bottom box, top drawer, which is a shallow drawer. I put it in the back and kind of stuffed it down in there, closed the drawer. And then when I went to open that drawer to lube it, I couldn't open it. Because why? The Matco part. See, it's the Matco things in the Snap-on toolbox. That's the problem. And I took the clips, and it took me an inordinate long amount of time to get that drawer out. They usually come right out. This one fought me for about 20 minutes. So now I took that thing. I said, okay, now you're not going in the toolbox.
We train those parts, those tools to do that so we can sell you a new box.
Hilarious.
You know what I'm saying? We paid a lot of money. We paid a lot of money for training those tools to do that.
I was laughing. I said, man, there's 2 for 2. That is just too funny.
I knew there was a trick in there somewhere. Yeah.
Funny stuff.
But staying on subject, I've never had a mechanic shop get one over on me because I normally just do it myself. What I've had problems with is online orders from people. And, you know, they sell a product and you want the product, you pay for the product, you wait for the product to be shipped and that you get confirmation that it's shipped. That's the normal way to do business. But when you have to chase somebody down to find out where your stuff is and you get every lie in the book on why it hasn't shipped, and then they tell you another lie, they're going to ship it next week, and it never shows up. You never get confirmation of a tracking number. You don't even get, because if they tell you it's, for example, it's lost in the mail. Well, what's the claim number where you filed a claim that it's lost. I want that. You know, that's stuff that should be provided to the customer. You should not be the one to have to chase them down. They should be transparent with you. And if you ever experience that in the first week or two after ordering, you'll know then that you got scammed. You got taken. And it's just pathetic that people are like that, but it's that way on the internet and they think they can get away with it. Yeah. Thankfully, holding his feet to the fire caused him to reimburse my money. So,
well, the funny part that you talk about, and I see this in the automotive parts deliveries, you know, to shops, and it makes you wonder because there's been a few times that I've ordered stuff from, you know, Macco, and you get the wrong thing. And then it's like you call back and you have to play that game. And it's like, oh, it must have been put in the wrong bin or it was pulled wrong. But it gives them enough time to find the right part. And it's like, I had a shop the other day. He had a set of brake rotors and calipers. You know, a brake job for, it was just a Ford F-150 or something. And he had to wait half the day for the parts. They show up, and there's 2 left-hand side brake calipers.
Yeah, nice.
So he calls, and they're like, oh, the guy pulled the wrong one off the shelf. We got it here. Let me see what I can do. I'll call you back. And then, you know, 45 minutes goes by or whatever. They call, well, now it's too late. We can't deliver. Well, I'll send my guy down there to pick it up. Oh, well, they've already left for the day because they were waiting from another warehouse to get to him. Yep. So, but they did the old, we'll just throw a part in there and, you know, you get halfway started. And, you know, like I said, I've seen that more and more where, oh, you wanted a metric set of sockets? Yeah. Who orders standards, buddy? And actually, I've got that now. I've got 2 sets of standards. And I know I didn't order it. So now I had to go back. And I mean, I could have made a mistake and pushed the wrong button with the finger. I mean, I have fat Flintstone fingers. I mean, it happens. But I know I ordered metric set and I got standard instead. And if the ticket says metric and I got standard.
You see, that's what I want to know. How come if no one's ordering standard anymore, how come they're not like half the price now?
Right. Well, they are a little bit less, but not half.
Yeah, I know. I feel everybody want to get rid of them.
But it's funny, though. I'll put them on the truck, and people will see them, and they'll say, is that a new size?
Nah. Well, actually, the other way around. The metric should have come down because you sell so much of them.
They sell more.
But I do like that. I do like, no, that's not a new size. That's fractions. That's standard. SAE. What's that?
Right.
What's that?
God. All right. Yeah, keep working. I'll bring my car by and you can take a look at it. Sure.
Well, that was the thing we talk about that always amazed me where, you know, you had SAE sockets and wrenches, of course. But then when metric came out, it's interesting that the metric sockets work on SAE ratchets. And like this 3/8 drive metric. You know, it's like certain things didn't change. You know? That's kind of interesting. Yeah. So thank God we didn't have to have metric and American ratchets. You know, it's bad enough with all the choices out there.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, and it was Snap-on had them, but I think it was a military size.
Okay.
And it was like, I mean, the 3/8 wasn't a 3/8 square. You know what I'm saying? It was, I can't remember what it was. But you'll come across and somebody will bring me one of those sockets and say, hey, I can't find an adapter or I can't find a ratchet that fits that. And then you try to explain it was, you know, it's a industrial or it's a military thing. And so they did try to do something different.
I like proprietary, yeah. I was going to say something.
You were going to say hello to Joey.
Yeah. Hey, Joey.
Hey, Ray.
Isaac.
Hey Joey, you
Hello.
mentioned 3D printer. How big can you print?
I think that thing you can do up to, I want to say 8, maybe 10-inch tall. Like if you're doing figures.
Mm-hmm. What about the base? Like, what's your footprint?
I can't remember, but I want to say maybe 6 by 7 or something like that, or I'd have to go out. I'd have to measure. Okay. But why are you looking for?
I bought on my compost toilet. I bought a fan unit, and they 3D printed the housing.
Right.
To hold the fan. So I'd like to get something like that because I want to put a fan in my solar closet so I can suck the heat out.
Yeah. How big? Because you can do stuff if it's real big. You can do it in 2 or 3 parts or prints, and then just attach it, pin it all together with some good epoxy glue, and make it look good. But get me the size of the fan. I'll look on Colt's 3D prints, see if there's already a file created. If there is, I'll snag it. If not, we'll.
What they use is a computer. They use a computer fan.
Oh, okay, like a desktop type
muffin fan.
Yep.
I think those are 4-inch by 4-inch. If it's the one I'm thinking of, goes at the back of the tower.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't you just go find some old towers and rip the shit out of them, rip the fans out of them?
Well, I need the housing. The way the housing is made, it like clips on both sides of the fan, and then the other side has 2-inch hose that you put the hose onto it.
Yeah, it's like a frame with the hose inlets.
Yeah, the one in the tool truck is it's like, I think it's like you say, a 4-inch by 4-inch fan, and it's like a double wall light socket, like a light switch, but it was open like for those rocker switches, and it fits on that, and it's just, they got a vent on the bottom of the floor, and it sucks it. It doesn't have the 2-inch tube part. It just it just has like a round 4-inch metal braided pipe. End that goes into the floor, and then that's mounted up on top, and that blows out from under my closet or my box where my inverters and shit are.
Yep.
But for something that size, the grid for mine, you can tilt it like at 45 degrees. The file, add your extra supports in there. As it prints, it'll print the supports to hold it while it prints the part. That size is something that could be easily done. Just gotta get the file together and figure it out.
Is there on those 3D printers? Is there a program or something, an app that you can put on your phone, like if you want to scan something in, like you want to copy something?
I think you'd have to use something like Fusion 360 for that. That you get, which you can get Fusion 360 without buying a machine. It's just costly.
Yeah.
But if you bought, I'm not saying run out and do this, but like when I got my
you want
CNC,
this?
Is that
3D solid scanner?
I don't know. I've never used it.
Is that like the wand?
No, I wish it was. It's got a like a deck, and then I don't know how it works. Oh,
what is it?
It's a 3D scanner.
Yeah,
scanner
that I've never used.
No,
and then I guess this scans it somehow.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen those now that I've looked at that.
And then it comes with a bird.
Like on that Fusion 360, this guy did a demo. He was taking his cell phone and he took a picture of a car part, brought it up into the Fusion 360, turned it into a file, and then he cut it on a CNC plasma table.
Mhm.
Well, you can do the same process for 3D printed stuff as well. You know, you just have to have something like Fusion 360 or something to do it.
We have a scanner at the school. My athletic director, he's got it in his classroom, and I'm like, ooh, we can make cup holders for my car. We can do this. We can do that. And
Right.
And he goes, take the measurements. He sent me, excuse me, he sent me a copy of some program, and he said, it's like AutoCAD. You just put it in there. And I'm like, well, do we have something to scan? Because I'm kind of lazy. I don't want to have to draw it up.
But yeah, with that Fusion 360, it kind of does away with the scanner where you don't need it. You just got to get a good picture, you know.
Cup holders.
Oh, look at that.
Is that what you made those?
Yeah. This one is like, in case your cup holder small, you can put it in there and make it larger. And then this was another deal. I mean, I don't like a Slurpee size. I don't know. It's huge. It's like,
Yeah.
And then it's open on the bottom. I don't know. I haven't used them. I'm like, oh, that's cool. We print it, and it doesn't fit.
Is that what kind of material was that printed with?
PLA.
Like resin or?
No, it's just PLA.
Oh, okay, PLA. Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got a bunch of
this.
I wish I can take a smart pill and understand this better, because, man, I want to do this, but my problem is I'll be like Keith over there and buy a whole bunch of stuff and I'll just sit there and collect dust.
Yeah,
Well,
This the only thing that was useful. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, well, this phone holder was made by Iron Horse Garage. That was there for the Raise the Roof event.
Yep.
And
it's
even got their logo. Yeah, you got one. So this was, I believe, PLA. And I tell you, it's been the handiest phone holder ever was. Like, if you're wanting to watch a video and and the phone won't stand up, you can just set it on here. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I use mine all the time. I got one in the office and in the bedroom.
Yeah, I got one in here and one out in the shop.
I'm still a dinosaur. Before I bought the plastic ones, I actually made them out of aluminum and like sheet aluminum, and I used chrome bolts to hold the phone. Chrome Allens. So still working with metal.
So this is like the only thing that I made that was useful. It's a regular SD card, slides on top, and has micro SDs inside.
Oh, okay.
And you just
nice.
Slide it on there. That's like, I'm like, oh, this is the best thing ever. But that's the only thing I made that was useful.
So it's kind of like storage for your cards.
Storage for the micro, yeah. And then you
Nice.
then you get your SD card with the slot. I don't know if you can see the slot. You would put your micro in there. Yep.
Yeah, I've got like 4 SD cards laying on the back part of the panel for my laptop, just laying there.
Yeah.
I use them all the time, but
yeah. Look at up Thingiverse, and you can just print this little thing. It worked pretty good.
Yeah, when my
and then
trail cams, my trail cams get full, I grab those 4 cards, head out with new batteries at the cards, and change everything out, and then I bring the cards in that I just took out, go through them, see if it got anything, and
what else did I
clear them off and wait for the next time.
This was made on the 3D printer.
An A?
Oh,
one at school. Yeah, it's
kind of.
It's and then he printed out some letters so I could put pirates, because that's our school mascot, and he did that the other day because I had pointed out some of the teachers have for their door they have the A for the school, and then they have it's made out of wood, like they did it in wood shop, and then it's got the teacher's name, and I'm like, I want something like that. And I walked in and he was printing. I'm like, what you printing? And he goes, something for you. And so the next day he had one of the students bring it up to me, and I mean, I got to figure out how I'm going to mount it. I'm thinking of getting like something like a black board behind it, because our school colors are green and black, but Yeah, he got it for his classroom, and he's been messing around with it and doing all kinds of different stuff. And I was like, hey, we can do car parts.
Yeah.
You know, you
You
better
can do,
ride that high as long
yeah.
as you can, because pretty soon you're going to have
Code is-
one-legged guys or eye patches complaining that you know, disingenuous using their name.
What about one-armed guys with an iPad?
Well, that's a whole other group, yeah. I mean, but in his
Okay.
case, it'd be
All right.
one-legged guys.
Yeah, we like that.
And most pirates are one-legged, not one-armed.
What about one-armed guys with a patch and
Cowboy hat.
Oh, there we go.
cowboy hat?
That'd be
That won't stay on
What
his
about
head.
them?
Well,
So
I don't see
Brian,
any.
you have YouTube University. You learn how to use it.
YouTube. Oh, I know.
Yeah, you
I
have
know.
YouTube.
I know.
what is YouTube University?
Oh yeah.
YouTube.com.
You send-
You
wait. You send me a check, and I can send you the program.
Yes, very good, Lewis. Yes, send me. Yes,
Wait a
for
minute.
$9.95 a month, I'll send you the link.
This is a scam. It sounds bad.
No, of course not. With a face like this, ask my mother.
Okay. Okay. I'll pass. I'll just stay a high schooler. I don't want to be in the university.
Hey, speaking of that, hey Ray, I had a guy on the truck the other day, and he saw my Motormouth Radio bumper sticker that I have on the door,
Really?
and he goes, "Motormouth Radio?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "I listen to it all the time."
No.
And I said, "Really?"
That's awesome.
And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "They got this tool guy on there every once in a while."
You know,
That guy's a jerk.
here I am falling on the sword, complaining about how like the social media is like people just don't subscribe or follow. It's like, and I keep hearing there's people all over the place. Throw a guy a bone, man. Just hit the freaking button for Christ's sake.
So then I said, "Yeah, that's me." And he
I want a
goes,
Motormouth Radio sticker. How do I get it?
and he goes,
$9.95.
yeah, for $9.95.
Get one a month.
And
said,
that's
"That's-
Bruce Lee.
I said, "That's me." And he goes, "It is?" I goes, "Oh yeah, that's you." He goes, "I see the guy. The guy posts stuff. He posts all this old stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, I was on the radio like the other week."
2 weeks ago.
You were?
I don't know what it is with people. I really don't know what it is. It's like the Twilight Zone, man.
No, I don't.
I mean, he might have been joking, but I was just like,
Well, but he had enough information, though. He had some key
Yeah.
information that's right. So
So he
actually,
really
there is a
listens.
guy. There is a guy from Maryland. I picked him up. I guess it's about a year ago, and I think I asked you, and he was one of your guys, one of the guys in the shop.
yeah,
I'll find out who it is. I'll let you know, but that's got to be who it is.
yeah, that's one. That's one. That's
That's the other listener.
Yeah, the other listener, right?
Well, I joked that we've joked about it before. You know, we only have 9 listeners
Yeah,
or whatever. But
Unbelievable.
That's
great.
awesome, though.
and it was funny because I got a text from another guy. He used to be one of my customers, but he's with in another area. And he said, he asked if I was still with. How did he do that? I guess because he saw the replay on Facebook or whatever, and he was like, "You still? Do you still live here or what?" You know, it was like, I'm like, all right, dude, yeah, keep it moving. Just nothing to see here. Keep moving along.
Yeah. Well,
Well, that's
tell you,
that's when you should tell him, no, I moved to New York, but I have to do my deliveries down here. So you got to buy something so I can afford to keep coming.
because it takes 10 hours.
Well, he has a different Matco guy.
Well, I will tell you, Brian, that when people do react well, you know, guys I know I talked to, like I said, I was spending time with my buddy Bill, and you know, and he appreciates it because some people were never on a tool truck, and it is kind of a a unique experience if you've never done it. Of course, if you're doing it and you're really working for a living, it becomes it's like a business thing. It's like going to buy work shoes, but that's where that dealer customer relationship comes in. So, a lot of times there's been plenty of times where, I'd see the guy, and if I didn't buy something, it was like, it's like, well, that's what you don't need nothing. Well, so it's like, well, move on. I got to go.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how about the fact that you never have to chase me for money because I pay it in full every time? Like, isn't that worth a hello or like a couple of minutes of just
really
time,
Right.
that should be worth a Motor Mouth Radio bumper sticker.
Yeah, make me feel
$9.95 a month.
So
well, that's that's what we were talking about. And I know sometimes even I get, like I said, you get behind, you get backed up, and you're like, all right, I got to run through the shop here, and that usually goes right out the window then, because somebody will ask you a question or this or that, or you get 4 or 5 people out in the truck, and this goes back to one of those stories. I mean, one of those guys that was a die-hard Snap-on guy. And I used to come by the shop, and he was towards the end of the day. And I made it that way just because, like I said, the way he said that he would never buy or never do any business with me. I just kind of made it, okay, I'll make it towards the end of the day. And if anything happens, I have more than enough time. I can full focus on that.
right.
And so it was one time, and I was really late. I mean, it was probably close to 7:30 at night. Shop closes at 5. So I was it was 2 hours after hours, and I pulled into the lot, and like I said, lights out, doors closed, everything's locked up, and I walked up to the door. And I rolled the flyer and opened the exhaust tube up and threw it into the shop.
Yeah.
And the thing comes down and turn around, and I'm walking back. Well, just then the door opens to the shop, and it's that guy. The guy's there. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm finishing up my route." He goes, "It's like 7:30." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I run my route. I tell everybody, you can wait for me. I will show up. I mean, it's very rare that I will not make it."
Like a mail carrier.
And he's like, "Wow." And I said, "Yep." Well, I walked back, and I picked the flyer up and handed it to him. And I said, "Here's this month's flyer. And did you have anything lost or broken, or did you need anything?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, well, see you next week." And I'm walking back to the truck, and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute. Let me take a look at all your truck." Comes out, walks around in the truck, buys about $1,000 worth of stuff.
Nice.
Wow.
And he said, here he goes, "I didn't expect." I said, "No problem." I said, "You can wait till next week, or if you have anything you put down today." Go, "Well, here's 50. Come see, make sure you stop next week." And I said, "No problem." But that was just that type of thing.
Right.
And probably the best ever was the one guy that yelled at me about never to come into his shop. "I never want to see you in my shop." And of course, I still stopped by every week and said, "Hey." I walked in there, and he had a Boxster on the rack, on the lift. And he's walking around the car holding the air filter.
Uh-huh.
And he's like looking, and I said, "Hey, I'll lay a flyer. I see that you're really busy. I'll lay a flyer over here on your desk." And he mumbles something, and I said, "You trying to find a place where that belongs?" He goes, "Yeah, man, I hate these cars." And I said, "Oh, just take a minute. You just got it's underneath the convertible top." And he's like, "What?" I said, "We just pop up the convertible top, and there's the box for the air filter." And he looked, and I walk over, pop, dum, lift up. Well, I said, do you have an air blower? And he goes, looks at me. I said, stand back. And I blow all the leaves out of the bottom of the air box, put the air filter in there. I said, there you go. I said, I'll see you next week, buddy. Oh, I said, oh, by the way, this thing's going to need front brake rotors. And he goes, you didn't measure them. I said, well, my calibrated fingers, they're out by this much. Next week I walk in there. He's like, dude, those rotors were out almost like you said. And I said, yep. And he until he retired, he bought from me every week.
Wow.
Nice.
And he was a diehard Snap-on guy.
Because you built a relationship.
He actually yelled at the Snap-on guy like me to get him out. So
So you're Matco though, right?
yeah, I'm Matco.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
You converted him.
Yeah.
In the name of Jesus, come to Matco.
Almost.
You know, people don't understand relationships. You know, just being genuine is a major plus.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Hey, I got a question. I'm going down a rabbit hole.
$9.95 will answer it.
Yeah, $9.95. Check in the mail. So this Silverado I have is taking me down a rabbit hole. I want to put everything on it, but I don't have the money. But anyway, so I got the shackles on the back, lowered at 3 inches. But now it rides, it bounces. So I'm thinking shocks.
Yep.
Is it like doing a dolphin? What is that called? They call that
Porpoising?
Is it like trying to jump forward like this?
No, more of a when I go over bumps, it keeps bouncing.
Shocks.
Yeah.
They
It has leaf springs, right?
Yeah, leaf spring.
Yeah.
They have shocks that are set for
lowered.
Yeah, that might be part of your problem because you're too far stretched out now on the shock because you lowered 3 inches and now you're too high, so you don't have the travel. You might be all the way at the end of your shocks.
And if you don't switch to a lowered shock, you'll end up blowing them out.
Yeah.
You need something that's set for what you got the drop on. I had a 91 Maxima and I did a 2-inch spring drop and I had good struts on there, but I needed to go with the lowered strut and I blew out my struts pretty fast. And the ride was real harsh.
Yep.
So
because you're at the limit already.
Yeah.
I lowered my car, put double adjustable QA1s in it, and it's like pushing on a desk. You can't move it. Really, literally, that's how firm it is.
Speaking of QA1,
I know.
Other way. There you go.
Yeah.
On your QA1s though, even if you're talking about when you took the springs out, right? You're just talking about the stiffness of the shock still.
Yes.
Or is it because what springs do you have in there?
I bought springs based on the company that I got my control arms from. And I was just talking about this the other day. Just so happens the fellow who owns the Cup QA1, the guy Doug, has a 65 GTO that he road races and does a lot of road course stuff with. So that was his test bed, and that's what I have. So I think what he did is he just copied his car with what he sold me.
Yep.
Which around, most of the time it's fine. But like when I take the car into Queens, I have a little bit of trouble sometimes. Imagine that. So that's why I just picked up from Bill another set of tires and rims the other day. I want more sidewall in the front of the car to give me some tire compliance.
Yeah.
And but instead of you're just gonna go out and buy new tires and rims on. I mean, I actually did find a place, a tire calculator. And I was able to download a lot of stuff to give me the you're looking at overall circumference, so you can look up what different rim sizes and pliers will give
I'm
you.
just really curious on what your spring rate is. If it's too much,
980 in the front.
980.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that too much?
Yeah.
Well, listen, QA1's coming on
980.
April 11th.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
So
Really?
yeah, so
Nice.
Fuck, that was
KC's
cool.
coming on.
The problem, and I was just talking to a fellow the other day that has QA ones. He put them in his Corvette, and it really helped his problem. So I said the biggest problem I have is that my rears are easy. I can roll under the back of the car and I can make adjustments, but the fronts, the adjusters are kind of in between the coils of the coil spring. I got to literally drop the shock down out of the car to make adjustments and put it back up. So,
Yeah.
it's not something you do on the fly. I wish I could do it on the fly.
Yeah, my buddy at Rust Bucket Restos, that's all he uses on those old Dodge Chargers and Cudas and stuff and Roadrunners. And they make some really nice stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's
And they're
beautiful.
rebuildable.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go with on the back, I think. The QA1.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're expensive,
Yeah, they're
but
good.
hey,
They are.
if you want the best, that's you just
You
got
know,
to pay, I guess.
I looked at it like this when I saw it, what I paid for tubular control arms, and then I bought spindles and of course brakes and calipers.
Yeah.
I said, you know what am I going to do? Like cheap out on on
Yeah,
the
you
shop?
don't want to.
Good.
Right.
Especially if
Well,
you're
that's
going to
what-
drive that across country. You don't want to
Yeah.
bust in a control arm,
Well,
That's what people do, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
They'll spend the big bucks on one thing, and the component next to it is like, well, I don't want to spend. That's like that guy that had that Cummins diesel in that 50. I don't know what year Cadillac that thing was. I'll have to look back and see if I have a picture. But it had a fin on it, and I don't think it was a 59. It might have been a 59. But he took another. Maybe it was a 60. 60 wasn't as high, right? I mean,
they had smaller fins, yeah.
But he had taken another 60. Oh, I guess it was another fin, and put it towards the bottom on the side of the rocker. So with the way the lights were, it looked like a back of a fighter jet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
The way the fins and the things coming off, and he had this Cummins diesel thing, and it was all tapped out to the max, and the exhaust was coming out through the side of the front fenders or whatever.
Right.
And he's over there talking. And it was, it had the patina on it. It was, pretty nice. I mean, like I said, and he's like, yeah, I got to really watch it because I'm trying to find a distributor. I mean, a tachometer for the diesel. And I don't want to spend the $400 for one. And I looked at him. I said, "You got to be shitting me, dude! You spend $1 million fucking dollars on everything else, and you're too cheap to buy a tack for $400?
Yeah.
Well, it's the principle. What principle? You blow this shit up all over the fucking road, you dumbass!"
Yep.
And he just looked at me, and I'm like, "Dude, seriously? You're pinching pennies over $400 after you spent $1 million on this whole thing?" Well, that's the
Right.
problem. I spent too much money.
Brian,
Good luck, dude.
Brian,
Well-
Oh,
I'm never gonna share with you what's going in my truck.
Oh, I know.
I don't want to be cussed out.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm still drinking coffee. I haven't eaten, and my baby girl Lulu is upset because I'm not paying her any attention.
And you haven't brushed your hair.
I know. It's been a rough day.
But you have the house to
Well,
yourself.
Yeah.
House to yourself? Yeah.
I've got the house to
positive.
myself.
There you go.
No females. Well,
Well.
Brianna will be home in a little bit, but
No.
she's
Well,
supposed to
Ray,
leave tomorrow too. So the girls are
Ray,
all up in
back
Pennsylvania.
to the bumper sticker. Seriously, how do I get one?
I got to make more.
You gotta make-
What I did is I found that little cachet of stuff. I've been cleaning up, trying to downsize, and I found a couple of oddball ones, and that's what I sent them. So I got nothing. I got a ton of business cards. Yeah,
Just send me that banner hanging behind you.
Yeah. I have two of those. I got two of them.
I'll duct tape that to the tailgate.
That
could be the bumper sticker on the back of Lewis's bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing. We made 2 rounds of bumper stickers. We made full size ones and then shorter ones, and we gave them all out. And then we realized like we never saw them. And then we made inside window clings. If okay, people don't want to put a sticker on the car and bumpers now, without a chrome bumper.
Yeah.
So we made the inside window cling that goes on the inside of the window. You can always just peel it off. And I started seeing this stuff. Yeah, that I get my friends on their toolboxes in their garage or on the refrigerator.
Right.
Oh, it's supposed to go on your car. They're all in garages somewhere, but I have to make more.
Yeah. Well, my truck's got sliding glass windows, and I think motor mouth raised sticker would look good back there on that.
It would.
Or you can get a vinyl cutout.
A round one. That'd be good to have a round
so
one.
if you get any more made, keep me in mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Appreciate
I'll
it.
have to do that. And
All right, guys, time for me to bail.
All right,
Jim.
Hey, see you, Jim.
Good to see you, Jim. Take care.
Take care, Jim.
Justin,
I ordered my keys. What do you call them? Torsion bar keys.
Torsion bar. Yep.
Okay.
You got them.
No, I ordered them today.
All right, let us know how it goes.
You didn't cheap out and buy the aluminum ones, did you?
No.
Because Brian will cuss you out if you did.
Do they even make aluminum? I don't even think that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't think they make aluminum. That'd be kind of rough.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't think they made.
Right?
I didn't get the new pork chops. I just lowered the torsion bar.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one reason why it rides not well.
Now, is your truck 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive?
Yeah, it's all-wheel drive. Yeah.
Okay.
Full time.
How far did you go down without having to play with other stuff?
On the front, or?
Yeah.
Well, I did. Actually, it might not be that bad because I did 2-inch drop spindles in the front. So actually, I probably didn't turn the torsion bars down that much because I already got the 2-inch.
I'm just curious.
The spindles.
I'm just curious, Lewis. If you're lowering a 4-wheel drive, why don't you just go with 2-wheel drive? It'd be easier.
Because the 4-wheel drive came available.
Good enough answer. I'll take that.
That works.
I mean, I wasn't being a jerk when I asked. I just curious. Whatever, man.
No,
It's kind of funny.
You're not
Don't
getting my
get started.
attention.
It's kind of funny.
I kind of wanted a 4-wheel drive because when I'm out west, I do some trails and stuff.
Gotcha.
Not if it's lowered.
Yeah, you got to lower it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Not that low. I'm just making it pretty, not low.
It's kind of funny. In the shop the last couple of weeks, we've had 2 Silverados, a lowered 4-wheel drive and a lifted 2-wheel drive.
Wow. Yeah. So Justin, I want to hear the adventures of the Sniper 2.
What was that?
You, I think I caught her on Instagram where you said you were doing a Sniper 2.
Yeah, on that Roadrunner. I haven't put it on yet. Just kind of getting some things fit and
I would
figured out the
appreciate
car.
reports on that as you go because people are asking me, and I said, look, I don't know, I haven't installed one yet, and I don't see it happening in the near future. I'm not doing it on my own cars, but yeah, I'd be curious to know, what you find.
Yeah, this is the only one we got in the shop right now, but we were trying to get the headers fit on the car and the
Chrysler's are fun.
Oh yeah, the front drive. We got a whole March front drive set up, and
nice.
Just trying to get everything. We're gonna pull that engine back out, paint the engine bay, stuff like that. So, but that will get the Sniper 2 eventually.
Nice. Yeah, very curious. I believe what Holly said. I believe everything they said. I believe they worked out all of the bugs from the one. And like I said, I'm fortunate. I didn't have a lot of the bugs that were reported. Maybe some of that's luck. Maybe some of it was, the process. I don't know. But I believe that there's always bugs, and they'll put stuff out and work it out through, through warranty and whatever.
Yeah. I think
it's because they
installs a lot of it.
Well, I know they had a lot of problems with the ECMs overheating and having a problem because the ECM is in the the throttle body. It still is, but now they redesigned the way they mounted it. I know they paid a lot of attention to all those customer complaints.
Well, they take good care of you, Ray, because they know you'll run them down on the show. On your radio show.
Actually, I got to call them again because I had my car out a couple of weeks ago, and it sat for a while, and it started right up. I mean, it fired right up and did everything it should do. But I noticed my gas gauge wasn't reading, and now that all goes through. The sending unit, their sending unit, and pump in the tank. Yeah. And as I was driving, I noticed, boom, now it was reading, and I went to this event at a guy's shop. Parked the car. A couple hours later, came out, started it, and the fuel gauge wasn't reading again. And then sometime on the way home, I looked; it was reading again. So I want to find out why.
I saw this new sender that uses a laser that shoots into the tank. Have you seen that yet?
It uses a
I think it uses a laser and it shoots down.
Laser
beam. Laser beam.
And I guess it measures
$1 million,
whatever, and so you don't have the little floating and all that crap anymore.
I haven't seen that. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, this thing still has a float on it.
Look, it's Holly.
Yeah. And when I check the float, when I check the rheostat, I always check it with a fluke, and of course I make sure I got 0 to 90 ohms. Everything is there, and it's grounded. The sending unit's grounded to the back of the car, and then there's a dedicated ground back to the battery. For the pump, everything is grounded. And believe me, it's grounded.
Oh, it's Holly. Holly makes it.
Yeah.
Easy level sender uses LiDAR technology. Yep.
So can that just be retrofit into any system?
It kind of looks like it. Looks like it just mounts onto the regular one.
Send me a link.
Hey guys, I'll see you next week. I had to jump ship.
All right, Lois, good luck with your parts.
Yeah, Lewis, thanks for coming and joining us tonight. Glad you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you had fun and enjoyed yourself, and you'll come back again, I hope.
Yep, I sure will.
Yep. Go be an adult tomorrow.
At least 5 more years.
Yeah.
All right, guys, have a good week.
All right,
you too.
Later.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
All right, I'll send you that link.
I always hate when he's leaving because then you guys get to pick on me and he's not here to stop you. It's not right.
So,
Justin, I was going to say that the lowered 4-wheel drive and the raised 2-wheel drive, those are just Polish trucks. That's all.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not owned by my family members. Considering.
I had
might be mine back there.
I had an F-150, 87, blue and white two-tone, and it had a straight 6, and it was a 4-speed, manual, just a basic truck. It had the rubber mats in the vinyl seat, nothing fancy, And I had put 34s, all-terrain tires on it. I put 34, I think they were 34s, and had one of my customers, he owed me some money, and I told him, I said, well, you can work it off. I said, I want to put dual exhaust on it, and I want it to come out the back. I don't want the coming out the side. And he goes, man, that thing's got the spare tire on it and, underneath. And that's the reason why they usually come out before, because they had to go around that tire. And I said, well, they said you know how to do it. And I said I wanted to come straight out the back. And so Jeff had done it. Beautiful job, and had the put I guess I had a set of this shows you my age. It was like a set of Sonic turbos.
Yeah.
Mufflers that I still had laying around from back in the day on the Mustang,
Nice.
And so I took those to him, and he put those all in, put the dual exhaust on with the straight 6 and, the whole 9 yards, And I tell you, when I went to go sell that truck, I had more people stopping. Like they'll say, "So does the 4-wheel drive work?" And I'm like, "No, it's 2-wheel drive, dude." And they're like, "How's the V8? What V8? 302, 351? No, it's got the straight 6." And they're like, "It's got dual exhaust, and it sounds decent, you know." And I'm like, "Yeah." And of course, you open the hood, and they're just like, "Oh my god, it's a straight 6." Or they climb underneath. There's no front diff. How's this thing not 4-wheel drive? It's just the stance of it, you know.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny.
That's funny.
But everybody that stopped, man, I tell you, and oddly enough, I had this Spanish guy. He stopped by, and he goes, "How much is the truck?" And I told him the price. And he said, "Okay, I'll come back later tonight and pick it up."
Yeah.
I'm like,
he didn't say he was bringing money though.
Yeah. I'm like, that's kind of weird, you know. Okay, yeah, right, whatever. So now I gotta go sleep out in the truck with the Glock. You know what I'm saying?
His cousin.
But it was the strangest thing. So
I'll be back later to pick it up.
that's what he said. He goes, "I'll be back
I'm gonna
later
get
to
my
pick it up." Never questioned the price. I said, "Do you want to drive it?" I said, we started it up. He says, "No, I'll be back to pick it up tonight." I said, "Okay." I went back in the house, and the wife was like, "What's wrong?" Of course, there was a little bit of a dialect, in between, because he was a Spanish guy. I'm like, "Man, this guy," I said, "I don't know what I have no idea what we're in for tonight." I said, "He's supposed to come back and pick this thing up and this and that." And sure enough, I guess it was like around 6:30 or whatever. He comes in, knocks on the door. I walk out, and there is a identical truck like mine, same color, same year. And he takes the tags off of it and puts it on the back of mine old one, hands me the money, and drove off.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. That's
But
why.
did he leave his? But did he leave his?
No, he didn't leave his. His
Okay.
brother took his, but they took the tag off the front of it.
Okay.
Same thing.
And put it on the back of mine. And they were identical. I mean, it was the same vintage, same blue and white. Just like I said, it was the same vintage. I said, "Oh, there must be something really wrong with the other one, or he's going to use the front tags on this and drive around."
Yeah, just drive too.
And at least when they run the tag, it's going to come back saying,
Right car. Yeah.
the Ford truck or whatever,
Yeah.
That was the weirdest thing that, he just handed me the money and never asked a question, never asked for anything. So it was kind of weird.
Mm.
Of course, you probably wish they were all like that. They disappeared, never showed back up, and never had a complaint. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wish at least they'd show up.
Yeah,
Any of you ever do any airbrushing?
I have.
I used to do models, but nothing fancy.
Oh my God. If you get your airbrush clogged up, you're gonna play some serious hell getting it unclogged.
Yeah,
Mine clogged up today when I was spraying primer on some parts, and
solvent.
mid spray, all of a sudden it just stopped spraying paint. I could still get air, but no paint. And I pulled it apart, soaked it in lacquer thinner for a while, took the little brush cleaners you get with it, and ran it through all the holes, cleaned it out, put it back together. It started spraying again, but then it's clogged up again. I thought, and that was just spraying lacquer through it, Then I tried backwashing it. I got the bubbles coming up through the cup, dumped it out, put some fresh lacquer in it, still nothing. So I thought, all right. I pulled it completely apart. There ain't nothing left inside that body, and it's all laying in lacquer thinner.
Yeah, that's what I got to do.
Wow.
Yeah. But if you ever do that and there's rubber O-rings, pull those off the part before you put it into the
yeah.
lacquer thinner,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you'll go back and it'll look like a big balloon blew up.
Yeah, that won't. They don't hold up with that.
No.
Oh,
But it'll come. It'll work. Normally I don't do that deep of a clean on it. After I'm done using it, I clean the cup out real good, spray 4 or 5 cups of lacquer through it, pull the tip off, clean it out real good, and then put it back together and put it away for till the next time.
Yeah.
Well, on occasion, I guess you should pull the pin out and do everything else on it, but
Yeah.
I just hadn't been doing it.
I think I airbrushed some cookies one time. Airbrush and I did.
Cookies.
I ate some cookies once.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah. We were doing, my wife got this little, it's a tiny little air compressor and all this. I'm like, what is this? She was, it's an airbrush. I'm like, okay, for what? She was, oh, so I can decorate the cookies. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah. If you go to like carnivals and fairs and festivals, you'll see a tent of a guy or woman, painting murals on people's faces with an airbrush.
Yep.
It's washable paint, but
Can you eat it?
nevertheless, that's just neat.
What if you could eat it? Just spray it right in your mouth, airbrush your tongue.
So, did you use enamels, lacquers, water base on them cookies? What do you use?
I have no idea. I don't know, whatever my wife, no, it was like food coloring or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Just all sugar, colored
I was just
sugar.
messing with it. Right. That's funny.
Yeah, I was like, some clear coat on it. No, I don't know what the heck.
I may do that. I may try that on the dogs. Spray some sugared water, colored water on their butt. See how long they dig for it.
I had a friend that had a white poodle, and he tried. It was supposed to be red, like red dye, and he put like a racing stripe on it. It came out pink, but whatever. So he had a pink racing stripe on his back.
Well, red on white will usually come out pink.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he didn't add enough red. I was like, why is it pink? He goes, well, it's supposed to be red. I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, I sprayed burgundy color. It's actually fingernail polish. It's called I'm Not Really a Waitress, and it's this beautiful red, but it's great for plastic models. And I did a test spray on a test dummy kit that's casted in white resin and or white styrene, and I just sprayed that red on it, and it turned the whole car pink. I thought, dang, I should have put primer on first.
Yeah.
But it was just a test dummy car that I bought to do testing on, but still, it turned it pink, and then somebody saw it, and they're like, you ought to build that for somebody and give it to them for breast cancer awareness or something.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that'd be good for that. But I didn't. I threw it in the blue pond and stripped it off.
Yeah, we made
We could airbrush kiss faces on ourselves.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
I picked Paul Stanley.
I hand painted Gene Simmons on my face 2 times. It turned out pretty decent.
That why?
That's cool.
Made that because of this up over here. Oh man, my Kiss albums. You didn't know they were there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right there.
Yeah, I don't know where you point that, but yeah.
Hey, Joey, I'll show you some of my vintage. This is one of my vintage airbrushes.
Oh yeah.
This is an oldie.
Missing one?
It's a single action. It's a. I thought I had a name on it.
Gravity feed or bottom feed?
It's a bottom feed. It's a Wold.
Okay.
So that's an oldie, and is the bigger version.
Yeah.
It's another double action, but bottom feed. This is another oldie. I had these dated. I should have wrote it down here in the. AOMD. No, I don't see the name. It's all, and they work. They're all free. They're not.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With the diesel.
Catman.
Peter Chris.
Hold it up so Ray can see it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You painted that?
No,
Or is that the
That's
album?
the album.
No, that's the
Okay.
album.
Kind of looks like Elvira.
Oh wait, I don't. What the heck? I don't know why. I probably bought it on eBay and then forgot.
Yeah, got two.
I have doubles, triples, quadruples.
I got
almost everything.
I don't know why I have two. Oh yeah, look at that.
My ex-father-in-law on one whole half of the basement was nothing but old antique records of different bands and rock bands and gospel bands. He just had it all. And I'm like, dude, what are you going to do with all this? Do you ever have time to listen? Well, I don't listen to none of it. I just like collected them.
When I was little, my dad had a bunch of what are the bigger ones? 78s, I think.
78.
Yeah.
They were thicker. And it's like I accidentally dropped one. I was like, oh, and it shatters a million places.
You shatter. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and then I thought it was cool. I'm like,
Yeah. They just shatter like glass. Yeah.
yeah, my dad wasn't happy.
No.
He was not very happy
Yeah.
with that.
My mom had some old Elvis and Richie Valens, and she had taken them out. Me and my brother started playing with them. Like we were listening. We wanted to listen to the music, but as we're getting excited listening, and they're laying on the ground, one of us put a knee into it. I think it was the Elvis, and she'll probably, if she's watching, she'll probably text me right now. But man, we got our asses beat.
Yeah, I think so. The heck is this thing? Look at this poster.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I found a trend, Isaac. I had Carl Anthony on the show last Sunday, and he said his mom listens to the radio show. I said, "Wow, we got a guy on Thursday, Isaac. His mom watches the internet show." I said, "Well,
oh yeah, I heard you talking about that.
it's the Mom's Club."
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Oh, my mom looks forward to it.
Really?
She said, yeah, she'll if I come on late, she'll text and say, "Hey, are you coming on? Are you stuck at a game? Is everything okay?" But even if I don't come on, she of course I'm her baby. She loves watching me, but she tells me she loves watching the rest of you guys. She gets a kick out of the conversation, and she loves so even if I don't make it, she's still entertained and loves watching you guys.
Right.
That's awesome.
So I got to tell you, Brian, I got to tell you specifically about that pizza we had the other day. You know, it's really cool when you don't have time limits. You know, you just do what you want. So I had to pick my buddy up at the shop. He dropped off his car to be worked on, his Corvette, and I had to drive him back to Queens. So that's when we went to the bagel place for our brunch, and that was phenomenal. You had to see him bringing, like, the guy's got like a wooden pizza shovel just filled with like bagels with twist rolls, and he just keeps taking them out and shoveling them out into baskets. They cook so much product at this place. It's amazing. So we started with that. Then we went over to his house, and that's where we're hanging out, you know, doing some garage stuff and playing. And I finally got the as we're in the backyard lounge, I realized, like, wow, it's 1 o'clock already. Okay, I'm very cognizant of like the traffic pattern to get home. You know, it's going to take a while with traffic. So then I noticed I hadn't checked in a while. Now I'm looking. Now it's getting closer to 5 o'clock. I said, all right, I'm not going anywhere right now. I'm staying. So he said, well, why don't we get dinner? We'll get a pizza. I'm like, all right. So we go into town, and of course now we ordered it. We got this, so we had to wait 20 minutes. So we came with red and green peppers, and we bring it back to the house. And I tell you, fresh out of the oven, this thing cracked in half. It's like that oven must be 700 degrees. You know, it just must be so hot to do that to the dough. And the pizza was just out of this world. Phenomenal. So today I go out, my wife, we had to go run some errands, and she goes, oh, you know, we can do this, we can stop and we can get pizza. There you go. There it is.
Yeah.
That's the pie.
That looks good.
It was delicious.
It needs some jalapenos.
So
I almost wanted to take a bite of his phone there.
I like to put pepper and garlic, and then red pepper on my pizza. That's how.
Oh
I
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's good.
You see my pizza? McDonald's.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I saw
I
you
gotta-
posted that.
I got a question for you guys.
Brian might have been there. Did you go to McDonald's and get pizza?
No.
The biggest McDonald's in Orlando.
Really?
It's right on Sand Lake Drive and off I Drive.
I got a question. Pineapple or no pineapple?
Nah, we're not
No.
in California.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
I won't turn it down, but it's not my first choice.
Right.
But
No.
I won't turn it down.
I won't either. I like it, but you know,
I'm gonna get it tomorrow just because we talked about it.
Pizza Hut. I think Pizza Hut has the best marinara sauce for dipping like your Italian bread in.
They got they got good sauce, yeah.
Well, I love it. I can't get enough
They
of
still
it.
have the stuffed crust. Is that who did that? Pizza Hut.
I think they all to one
Papa
degree or
John's has a really
All of
good
them do.
stuffed crust. I
Papa
don't know
John's
Pizza
makes a
Hut.
good pie. The thing I noticed about theirs is it has a little bit of a sweet taste to it.
Yeah,
And I like
Yeah.
that.
yeah, it does.
Now
It's
when we
really
make,
good.
we make our spaghetti sauce from scratch on the stove, and you always put sugar in it. Because it's got a certain acidity to it, so you want to kind of neutralize that, but
Yeah.
it never tastes sweet. So I don't know. Papa John's, I think they just go off the scale with the sugar. I don't know.
What sugar?
I like with Papa John's. I agree with the dough taste, that sweetness. I like that garlic sauce they put in, and then I like that the peppercini on the side. We always fight. You might get your fingers bit in my house because we always are trying to get a hold of that. So
Yeah. And there's a place down here in the harbor, down by Lake Erie, called Capo's, and they have the best toasted Italian sandwich. They call it the grinder that I've ever ate in my life. I mean, it's just delicious. And a big 12-inch, and your drink like $10.
What do they put on there? All the Italian meats and stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then I'm not sure if they use zesty Italian dressing or what dressing it is, but it's just, I mean, you can't beat this thing. It's just delicious. If you ever come to this area, I'm taking you there.
they got a place here that is called EG's, and they have an Italian grinder, and it's got like that. It's their own homemade or whatever mix of like an Italian sauce that they put in there. It's same thing. It's cold cuts, with the Italian meats and stuff, and same thing. It's really good. And then they got what they call their EG. It's a like a icy or a slushy, but it's Italian ice or something like that. It's flavored. They started, so the one they had here, and they started up here locally, I guess started in the 70s out of a food truck. Hint, hint, Matko. It started out of a food truck, and they were making these slushies, strawberry, different, pina colada and stuff. And then they added like B vitamins and stuff, and they were selling by the university for all the kids that had, for one, the heat in the summer, but they had like the B vitamins in it, I guess, originally, and it worked wonders for the kids coming off of a hangover. And then they started selling sandwiches too off the back of the truck, and then they got a brick and mortar store, and then they expanded, and it's a pretty neat story. But then those EG slushies, those are pretty good.
Yeah. And then speaking like of chicken, I love buffalo style chicken, and I was in Lawrence, Kansas to pick up a dog that I purchased. This was, I think, 1999. But while we were there, we went to this place called Henry T's Bar and Grill to have dinner. And the guy, he recommended the buffalo style chicken strips that they have on the menu. So I bought those. And the first bite I took, I was in love. I had never tasted, I mean, I've had a lot of buffalo style chicken strips, but the way they do theirs, I've never found anybody else with the same type of taste. It's just something about that place.
Man,
But anyway.
that sounds good.
Yeah, when you find something you like, you got to stick with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If they weren't 12 hours away, I'd be down there right now.
We got to stop
yeah.
because I haven't eaten all
Yeah.
day. And
Oh,
I'm
man.
starving.
Well, we can't tell you're starving.
Well, I'm being very patient over here, biting my tongue. I'm getting ready to light into you guys.
Hey, throw something in. Throw something in the oven. Well, you're not going to bother us.
You're in the kitchen, right?
Hey, we're not putting cheap parts on this food.
Yeah, damn right.
This is all grade A parts.
Right.
Yeah. Just mute your mic so we don't have to hear you screaming and yelling at the microwave.
Well, today, since we had this nice warm streak, I took the opportunity to put my canopy up on the deck, and we had our first barbecue. We made barbecued hamburgers.
Nice.
For the first time.
Come on, man! I grill 365.
I know we do too. We do, but it slows down in the dead of winter because it's just, my wife.
Yeah, it is a pain in the ass keeping it warm.
So this was the first official nice barbecue.
Hey Ray, you know what you do with your hamburger buns? You need to try this. Okay, do it like the grilled cheese sandwich. Lay some mayonnaise on them and put them on the skillet and grill them up like a grilled cheese sandwich.
All right. Yeah.
You'll never fix another hamburger that way. That's the only way you'll fix them.
I happen to be a big fan of. I like the king size English muffin. I like to put my burger on that king size English muffin. That's my favorite.
I like the big ones too. Like have the sesame seed on them.
Okay.
Those are really good too. And then you can get them at Walmart. It's the Hawaiian hamburger buns.
Oh yeah. We've had
those are so delicious.
Yeah, they're really sweet though.
I never thought I'd say it, but the brioche buns are very good too.
Yeah,
that's a very good taste in hamburger.
Those Hawaiian buns, is that same as Hawaiian King's rolls? The same company.
Yeah.
I'll have to find those. Those are good.
And they are very good. Yes.
They're too sweet.
I don't know how you guys pat your hamburger out with two hands. I do it really well with one hand. I buy that big long roll, that log of 2080 hamburger meat, and what I do is I bring it home and let it freeze up a little bit, make it a little bit harder, and then I slice all my hamburgers out of that in perfectly round burgers, and then I'll put them in freezer bags, like 2 in a bag, because I can eat 2 by myself. And whenever I need burgers, I just grab them. And now I also throw seasoning in the bag with it, and they're good and tasty already.
I actually happen to have a Snap-on hamburger press.
Oh.
And it puts the grill mark in the burger.
No way.
I have. Wow. Well, we have a Mako prong thing that you can keep in you heat it up, and then you do the steak or the burger or whatever you're doing, and it'll put the eagle on the.
Oh,
on the
cool!
meat.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I do, Joey, we're a little spoiled here. I think it's the Italian thing. We make hamburgers the same way we make the meatballs for our sauce, which is the same way we make a meat loaf, and we use 3 meats. We use lean chopped meat, veal, and what's the third one? Veal, chuck, and the hell's the other one?
Roast beef.
No, not roast beef. Well, three meats, and then that gets mixed up with breadcrumb and egg and garlic and parsley, and it's the same way we do. That's when we make meat.
That's awesome.
It all gets done the same. Pork. That's the other one. Pork. And it makes a really gnarly burger.
Very moist,
but tasty. Yeah, the same thing. That's like I said, we make the meatloaf that way. And actually, my wife started doing a Cracker Barrel meatloaf recipe recently, which I really like. It's got a glaze on it that's really cool. It's really sweet.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go ahead and declare it now. Brian's birthday party is going to be at Ray's, and it's going to be sponsored by Snap-on Burgers.
No, it's going to be Whitestone Pizza is what we're going to do.
Yeah. Like I've already said, when I venture up that way, I'm going to have to go at least a day and a half without eating because I know.
I'll tell you something. I thought, when I sent you the picture of that Husky toolbox that was at that guy's shop, which I thought was really cool because it was narrow. It was kind of an oddball thing. It would be really nice for a basement. And then we were talking about that Harbor Freight box, and I ran it by my friend Kevin. I said, hey, Brian might have a side case for you. I said, you into doing a road trip? Now, when someone says that to me, they can't get the word trip out. They can't get the word trip out, and I'm saying, yeah, when are we going? So he was like, oh, I don't know. Wow, I don't know. He was hemming and hawing. And I'm like, dude, you can't think about this. You just got to say yes. Like, let's go. I said, it's not that far. It's, 3.5 hours, 4 hours. We're there. No big deal. So,
Brian, you're in Maryland, right?
Yeah.
Baltimore? Yeah.
I'm between Baltimore and D.C.
So he was saying to me, like, next month, he'll be going down, for my daughter's wedding in North Carolina. He says, hey, have you thought about maybe stopping over there on the way back up? And I said, no, I can't do that. I said, I'll have my wife with me. I said, I can't put her through that. I said, when I go to Brian's, I'm going alone. Or I'm going like with a guy. I said, because we got a lot to catch up on. I said, I need a day on the tool truck. I said, I want to go out on the route, man. I'm going to start.
Yeah, you go a day on the route, man.
I'm going to be selling, man. I'm going to be like,
I'm going to do what I did with when I had Molly one time. Molly's like, what am I going to do? I said, you're pushing a shopping cart and handing out flyers.
Get paid in flathead screwdrivers.
I basically want to, I'll make the day worthwhile. Like, I want to show my stuff. I'll show those boys that, the New Yorker knows what he's talking about. And just like I told you, Clay Kuhn did a video the other day with his independent tool guy, and the guy was showing him those VIN ratcheting. There's got to be a set of those in my future. But he showed them, and Clay actually took them and did a separate insert video. Again, the man knows more about the tools than the guy on the freaking tool truck.
Yeah.
He not only knows the part numbers and the part numbers of all the sets, but he'll show you the intricacy of how it works. He's that into it. And I've said that to him a few times. I said, Clay, you do not, you don't, you never disappoint. I said, because you blow your tool guys away with what you know. And
we got the new Power Probe battery tester for draw, and it plugs into the OBD2 port.
Okay,
which is pretty interesting.
That's neat.
So you plug it in, and then you disconnect the battery, and it'll tell you what the draw is on the car, and you can run through.
I have a Power Probe circuit tester. It's made for testing shorts and grounds.
Yeah, that traces the wires out.
Yeah, I used it. It was a little. None of those things are exact.
It works really good on a simple circuit.
Yeah.
And I usually tell guys, if you're going to use that on a car with multiple circuits, you kind of have to disconnect the other ends, like, bring it down to the ones you had to test individually out on the harness, especially if it all comes into one big bulkhead.
Right.
It kind of sends you down the wrong track, and you kind of have to disconnect.
That's kind of the point of it, though. Like, if there is a short,
yeah.
Now by design, you have 2 or more circuits that are touching that shouldn't be. So,
right.
You have a web now.
You have, but that like I said, that was like, I think originally designed for like trailers.
Oh,
and you don't have that much, but you get into a bulkhead, and you have 4 or 5 different wires crossing over. You kind of have to, hopefully you have an idea of where you're going to start, and kind of like disconnect a few things and see. That way. That's kind of like there was a guy, I was going to send you the video It was fairly interesting because the guy had a Dodge truck, and at 33 miles, the truck would cut out, and all the lights would come on, and truck would cut out, and he would have to cycle the key and wait a couple minutes. And push the button and the truck will start right back up, never miss a beat, drive 33 miles and cut out again. And
I had a
he went
square
around
body
and
that
around
did that.
and had the scanner ready. And of course the biggest problem was that it only had like a 8 to 10 minute window, and then the truck would start. So he had, when he hooked the scanner up to it and was trying to go through, he was having, by the time he went through all this, the truck would start, but what he ended up finding out was, because he basically had to pull everything out and have everything kind of hanging there, so that when he knew he was on a time limit to start testing, unplugging components in the wiring harness to find out where the short was, because it was open ground. I mean, it was open in the system. And I guess on the Chrysler's products, when they link the modules up, they have this thing called a star connector, and it's a green piece about yay long, and it has where it connects. And what he ended up finding, even after he took an ohm meter to it and it was in specs, but as long as he held the ohm meter there longer, it started to rise, and that star connector was the short. That's where it was. But once it heated up and turned off, it would cool down and it would run. But for whatever reason it took, but it was very interesting. And I kind of forgot where I was going with all this.
Well, something like that should become certainly a TSB, but could even be a recall.
Yeah. But like you were saying about, he used so many different things to help him try to find it. But again, because of how much is being read off of it or where it's going, it's kind of like, it's almost like when you're reading the scanner and you start seeing all these codes, people start digging at the wrong end. They don't realize this. You get these three codes because of this code. This is the one. It might be the second one. The first one, because you lost communication, is because the truck cut out. You know what I'm saying? That's not the problem. It's what caused that second one, and then you have 5 or 6 more.
I had that happen on a Dodge Ram. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that reminds me of this Jeep I'm working on, where you have the radio on. It's an aftermarket Pioneer radio. And when you turn the lights on, either the parking or the headlights, the radio goes out.
I wonder if it's stealing the ground from it.
Well, that's what I thought. Then you turn the radio on, I turn the lights off, and the radio comes back. So the first thing I looked at, they hooked the radio up into the factory harness. So I regrounded it. Didn't help. Then I found another power and ground under the dash that I connected to it. That didn't do it. Then I noticed that the dimmer switch was missing out of this thing. Next to the light switch, there should have been a dimmer, but there was a toggle that wasn't going anywhere. The plug for the dimmer is there, but the dimmer isn't. And the factory radio is set up so that when you turn the lights on, the radio dims. There is a box that does that. And I took a wire right from the battery. I took a positive and negative right from the battery and connected it up to the radio. Turned the lights on and the radio went out. I was like, what the hell? So I ordered the parts from this guy in Connecticut who's got a junkyard. And I said, listen, let me run something by you. I needed some other stuff. I said, let me just run this weirdo problem by you. And I told him just what I told you guys now. And he kind of laughed. He goes, I've heard of that before. I've heard of real problems like that before. I'm like, yeah, well, do you have any idea what it was? He goes, no, I really don't. He says, I've heard that before. I'm like, okay, well, that kind of doesn't make me feel better. So I got to go back and attack that one again. I haven't.
I'll have to ask my radio guy when I see him on Wednesday.
I mean, it could be the radio itself. Maybe there's something where it's being deprived of. I mean, like I said, when I went to I went from the battery. I'm independently powered now, so.
But you should independently ground it too.
I did.
Oh
yeah, I did.
Yeah. How I found the
not
problem.
hooked into anything else.
No.
You know what you need? You need to go to your toolbox and find a 7/8 wrench,
Yeah.
open end combination,
Uh
and lay it on the floor of the truck.
huh. Right.
And then take an alligator clip and clip on one end and clip to the ground. That way you have a good source ground.
I tell you, it might work because I'll tell you why. When I was under the Jeep doing some stuff with the seats, I noticed all these little, zip screws that hadn't rusted yet, like, sheet metal screws coming through the floor. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And then when I went up to the top of the Jeep and I saw all these aluminum diamond plate panels, I'm like, oh, that's the rust repair for the floor. So yeah, if I put a 7/8 wrench on that, I might get a good ground.
You might, yeah.
Have you checked the I think it's the source wire for when you turn the power on? It's usually a yellow wire.
I did just, I didn't, because I haven't been there in a few days. I did just find some factory diagrams that I downloaded and printed that I'm bringing back with me that have the call outs for the wires.
The source wire is usually like the one that holds the memory and clock, right?
The yellow wire.
I think so.
Yellow wire holds the memory. The orange wire is the dimmer. I found that out.
So usually with what I've run across with the source, if there's an issue, you can have power to everything, but if the source gets interrupted, that'll shut the radio off.
Yeah, makes sense.
And
you shut the lights off, the radio comes back on.
Yeah, unless it's taking the battery, unless it's taking the like it's plugged in, like it's plugged into that light wire. I mean, because there should be like 2 power wires on that radio.
Well, actually, you should have a battery power.
Memory for the memory, and then you have a 15, a key battery, key power, and then you should have a 30 battery.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. I'll get back on it. These parts aren't going to come in for another day, too. Then I can't go down there over the weekend because I got a party. I got my daughter's coming in from I may have airport duty in Saturday. Then we got this party on Saturday for her future mother-in-law, and so it won't be till next week.
But, guys, I'm going to skin out. It's been great. I've had fun.
All right, Joey. Good to see you.
Joey.
See you later.
See you, man.
Yep, good to see everybody, and you guys take care. We'll catch you on the next one.
We'll do.
All right.
You too.
Be safe.
Take care.
Later.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same.
All right, Justin.
Take care.
We'll catch you guys.
Don't forget you want to know about that sniper when you get that thing going. I want to know how easy it was.
You got blue tape around your door?
Yes, I do.
That's weatherproofing. It's weather sealed.
Is that to keep the wind out? Is that the seal?
As much as I can.
Okay. I was looking and I was like, at first I thought it was a blue wall, but then I realized the other wall. I was like,
they're blue too. They're just a different blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like this color.
Yeah.
A little bit lighter.
A little lighter. Yeah, I just noticed that my cow cookie jar looks like a skull in the back.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh,
It does.
Oh, the bottom does. Yeah, the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, the belly. Yeah.
Yeah, I kept looking. I was like, why does that thing look like a skull? And then I realized it looks like a skull. I mean, geez.
Right.
dang
Strange
cool cookie
things
jar.
to see in the backgrounds.
Did your wife leave flowers for you today, Brian? Was that what the flowers were for?
Those are Legos.
Really?
Don't tell they're gonna fall apart. Oh my gosh.
Those are Legos.
Holy crap.
Well, look at that thing.
Wild.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, this is for the hay fever person. You don't have to worry.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right,
My
catch you guys.
brother, I love my
Take
brother.
care.
Take
Be
care.
safe.
I love my brother, and one Christmas he brought everybody Legos,
Hmm.
and now I have a house full of Legos. I have
Really?
2 versions. Actually, yeah, I have 3 different versions of Disney Castle. You know, the ones that are 4 feet tall, 7 feet wide. I mean,
Yeah.
we have bookshelves full of all kinds of Lego stuff.
Yeah. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to. Good night, Bill. We're gonna end our live stream so we don't take up all Lewis's bandwidth, and we'll be back next week with more Plane and Traffic. All the regulars. Lewis Lee, of course, will be here. Keith, Coach Isaac, McNamara, Brian, Justin, I hope, Jim, myself, and maybe even Joey Collins. And okay, yeah, good. And yeah, so let me end. Oh, let me see. Is
YouTube.
yes, Bill says good night, gentlemen.
Good night, Bill.
He's following. All right. And we'll end.